sound. And you know when you're driving, when you have when the ground is so hot, when you're driving, it's all these little waves. That's what was surrounding this thing. And I realized that here it is over my head, not a sound anywhere, and I could hear the helicopters across the river, but I couldn't hear this thing above my head. And it was so close, and I'm looking at him. He goes, I'm seeing what you're seeing. I said, oh my God. And I'm screaming, that's a bloody flying saucer, and and all this stuff, and I'm jumping up and down, and it was just amazing. And I watched it for about 15 minutes, and then I saw it traveling over the buildings. It was flying below rooftop at one point, and there was nobody at home. I'm screaming. There's not one light, not one person turned on their lights. And if anybody has ever been to New York, on a Friday night in New York City, in the summer, everybody's out in the Hamptons. They're not in the city. They're gone. And there was not one person there. And we're screaming. And all of a sudden I saw it coming over the river, and it stopped. And then it just went straight up. That was it.
Do you think if John were still alive, like, he would have stayed with Yoko and he would have been with you, do you think? Do you think that could have been possible, a percentage or something?
Could he have been with...
Do you think he would have, like, permanently split with Yoko and been with you?
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. To say yes, it's kind of impossible to say at the moment. It was just, his life was cut off too short, and it's not, it's hard to say.
Where were you and when you found out he was shot?
I happened to be near the Dakota. I was actually having dinner with a friend of mine, and I remember hearing the radio as a background, and my girlfriend was cooking dinner, and I just remember going, oh my God, did I just hear something on the radio about a man being shot that they may think it's John? Now it's now freaking out, and I'm trying to dial the telephone. I couldn't even get my fingers to work on a touch-tone phone. I finally reached a friend. I said, did you hear what I heard? He goes, yeah. And he's going, it better not be trivial, it didn't like get shot in the arm or something, or John's going to get upset that, he was just making a joke of it because he didn't think it was really him either. And then the next line from the DJ was, the man supposedly John Lennon was him, and he had just died. And it was just like, oh my God. I just started to freak out and start screaming, crying. And I said, I gotta go. And I hung up the phone. I remember telling my girlfriend, I gotta go. And she understood, and I just ran out the door, grabbed a cab, went back to my place, and I told the cab driver, please don't pass by the Dakota. And he goes, what's wrong? And I said, because John just got shot. And he goes, are you kidding me? I said, no. So I went back home. My friends were calling, people were coming over already, and I said, listen, I gotta go. And the phone rang, and I hear the message, and there were already messages, and it was from Ringo's assistant, his executive secretary, and I remember Joan going, first thing I said was, hello, and he goes, what's the number of the hospital? And I said, forget it. I said, he just died. And she just screamed out, what's wrong with your bloody country? I said, I gotta go, I gotta tell everybody. It was just awful. And the next person I called was David Bowie, because we were all friends, and we all used to hang out, and I called him up and woke up his secretary, his assistant, and I said, listen, Corinne, she goes, oh, what's up? And I said, I don't mean to wake you up. She goes, that's okay, what's up? And I said, is David there? And he says, no, he's out on a date. And I said, oh, well, I just told him, I said, John just got killed. And she said, what? She said, are you alone? I said, that's okay. No, she says, get down here now. I'm gonna go find David. She couldn't believe it. And then David walks in and he's freaked out totally as well.
So you're with him?
Afterwards, the three of us are just sitting there watching the TV set the whole night.
Are you still really emotional when you speak about it now? I mean...
At times I do. I think, there are times that, it's like you go, you ride on that wave, and there are times you can say, okay, you can get through this, and you say, okay, when you ask me, it's okay. And then there are other times it just hits you, and you just start, your eyes start to well up, and you just go, I can't believe he's gone.
Do you believe in reincarnation? And did John at all either?
I think he did. And it's quite interesting. I think reincarnation is something else. I mean, we all make jokes. It says, oh, I'd love to come back as that dog, because they get better treatment than I do, But I think there's something to it. When you meet somebody, you say, God, I've met you before somewhere. I do believe there's something out there.
Connection.
Yeah, there's some connection.
Do you believe? Would you think he was at peace with himself, or was he continually searching?
Oh, he was definitely always searching. He never felt that he knew all the answers. He was a constant searcher, no matter what it was.
I'm skipping through.
Go ahead.
Do you see Ringo and Paul anymore?
On various occasions, I do see them, whether it be a concert, whether it be just happen to be some function. I mean, I think the last time I really saw both Ringo and Paul was probably at the concert for George, and it was nice to see them. Yeah.
Did you get to see Danny and Olivia?
Yeah. No, we were there and had dinner the night before the concert. Olivia had arranged a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner, and everybody was there. I saw Tom Hanks. I hadn't seen Jeff Lynne. There was Eric Clapton, Billy Preston, and everybody who was involved in the show had arrived, and Astrid. I met, so there was a lot of people there, and it was nice to see everyone.
Now, the book Lennon in America by the controversial author Jeffrey Giuliano.
Yes.
Does that ring true to you? I mean, what are your feelings about that book?
Can I tell you something? I don't really read other people's books. Just to be honest, because only once in a while I'll skip through it. I don't know Jeffrey, but there was a couple of things I read and I didn't agree with. So I just don't read his stuff. I mean, he did not meet. He was not in my life. And so for me to read anything that he's going to write, what does that mean? He wasn't in the experience with me.
Do you know they're making a movie about it?
Are they?
Yeah. They just made a movie about one of his other books, about Brian Jones, about the murder of Brian Jones, and they're supposed to be making a movie about Lennon in America.
Oh, interesting. No, I don't know. I had no idea. No.
Well, there was reports that when that book came out, that Yoko and Sean, to stay away from the press, they went to France or somewhere to get away from it. Did you hear about it when it came out? I mean, John Lennon's diaries?
Oh, John's diaries. That's been around for ages, but no,
Okay. Have you hung around with Sean? I mean, he seems like a really nice guy and everything.
I don't know Sean at all.
You don't know?
No, I don't know Sean at all. No, if anything, the relationship I really do have would be only with Julian.
What was it like working at the Dakota back then?
Hectic.
Circus.
Absolutely. It was crazy. I mean, it was like, it was a few of us, and we were all working in the place, and everybody had their things to do, and we always had a list. So everybody had something to do in that house. Nobody was just sitting around loafing, let's put it that way.
Tell us, if you could, one last story about, just a story that you've never really told anyone, just a quick, it could be anything, going to the grocery store, eating pizza.
Let's see. Well, it's funny, John and I, before our official split, and I say official because that's he went back to living in Dakota, but we really did still see each other up until the time he died and was in communication until then. We were going to buy a house out in the Hamptons, and out in Montauk actually. So we were in the car, and I was sitting there, and we let his lawyer drive the car, and John was never that fussy, but he's sitting in the back. We're sitting in the back, and Harold would just